Now on 767 News, opposition stage a protest in disapproval of frivolous spending by the government. Dominica on its way to establishing Secretariat for Technical Education, and one man dead following police drug bust. In sports, Detroit Blazers defeat E.H. Charles crossover in DABA President's Cup final. Welcome to a new week of 767 News, Dominica's #1 news source. I'm Alicia George. We'll be back with the latest stories and developments after this break.
It's March Madness at Courts. Get all for nothing and nothing to pay for 30 days. Plus, get mad deals all over the store. And it gets even better with one crazy deal every single day. So Courts is the place to be all month long for new deals every day in the biggest March Madness promotion. Don't miss it. It's gonna be mad.
Some call it money transfer. We call it helping him hit his first ever six. MoneyGram, bringing you closer.
Welcome back. In tonight's newscast, members of the United Workers' Party, UWP, on Monday, March 16th, assembled outside of the Financial Center building in Roseau to display their disapproval of what they deemed irresponsible spending by the Dominica Labour Party-led government. Opposition leader of the United Workers' Party, Honorable Lennox Linton, said the government is abusing the funds of taxpayers.
We had an election on the 8th of December 2014. 6 candidates of the Dominica Labour Party were rejected by the electorate, and Mr. Skerritt has found a way to have them employed, at least 5 of them that we know about, at $80,000 a month, $80,000 a year, sorry. And they're in jobs like Director of the Economics Council. This is to be created for the purpose of giving one of the boys a job. You have a liaison in the Ministry of Health. You have a liaison in Diaspora Affairs. You have an advisor to the Minister of Agriculture. You have another analyst in poverty reduction, all for $80,000 a year.
Honorable Linton said the annual salary of an elected parliamentary representative is $30,000. However, the individuals on the government side who were unsuccessful as parliamentary representatives are now employed by the government with an annual salary of $80,000. He said this is a clear example of corruption which needs to stop.
We're saying at a time when so much is happening that requires careful spending of the public's money, like a proper sustainable employment program, and a program for sustainable employment of young people in Dominica, like the whole situation regarding our healthcare services, the situation regarding our banana industry. Black Sigatoka is killing the industry. The government has announced no plans for the revival of agriculture, no plans for the revival of tourism at a level where jobs could begin to come into the system now for the benefit of young people, poor people of this country. No plans to lift the economy, but the government is busy taking care of its own, adding millions and millions of dollars to the public, to the government bill now, to take care of its own.
He said the public should be dissatisfied with the blatant irresponsible spending of the funds collected as a result of taxes. The United Workers' Party opposition leader said he's hopeful that the protest action will generate discussion among the citizens of Dominica, who in turn will stand up against the Prime Minister, Honorable Roosevelt Skerritt's abuse of power. Meanwhile, International Secretary of the UWP, Dr. Thompson Fontaine, who is also an economist, said he is concerned about the level of spending by the DLP government.
Really concerned about this government's insistence on creating employment for its own people. These monies are not budgeted for in the budget of 2014-2015. And one has to wonder where money is going to come from. So this is simply an effort to take care of people, of the close cabal of the government, and this cannot continue at the expense of the Dominican public.
Dr. Fontaine said the government needs to focus on its citizens in addition to reducing the high number of unemployment island-wide.
This country is suffering. This country is hurting. This country is getting poorer and poorer by the day. And the behavior of this government is showing a complete disregard for the thousands and thousands of young people in this country who are without hope, who are suffering, and who are trying to make a living. And we are saying that it's time that the government begins to focus on what matters and stop simply creating these kinds of avenues for its people at the expense of everybody else.
The UWP member said they will not stand for injustice in Dominica. In other stories, the Ministry of Education and Human Resource Development, in collaboration with the local arm of the Technical Vocational Education and Training, TVET Council, is expected to form a secretariat for that council very soon. This is according to Merrill Matthew, Director of Continuing Education at the Dominica State College. Matthew, who spoke with 767 News during a Caribbean Vocational Qualification, CVQ and TVET Masters training last Thursday, says the secretariat's responsibility will include the development of a framework to assess people who have not attended a formal training institution but are skilled in a technical field.
Very soon, the Ministry of Education will create a secretariat for the TVET Council. There is a TVET Council in Dominica comprised of people from the public and the private sector, including people from the manufacturing sector and people from education. That TVET Council has been asking for a long time to set up a secretariat so that the secretariat can take responsibility for things such as promotion of CVQ, so that that secretariat can employ its staff throughout the country to sensitize people about the value of the CVQ, about the processes for obtaining a CVQ, and that secretariat will also be responsible for developing a framework to assess people who are not at a formal training institution.
This assessment is referred to as Prior Learning Assessment and Recognition, PLAR. Matthew added that what Dominica needs is not necessarily more technical facilities, but new ways of certifying skilled workers.
We perhaps don't need new facilities. We perhaps need to fix our facilities so that they become more CVQ friendly. The facilities that are CVQ friendly are facilities that are well equipped with the kind of machinery or close to what operates in industry. If you as a person have skills in garment production, even though you did not go to a garment school, somebody can come and assess you to see if you have the required competence. Once you have the required competence, meaning that you have the knowledge, the skills, and the right attitude, then you can be CVQ certified. You do not have to go to a formal institution.
The Secretariat will consider the possibility of introducing more full-time programs and extending technical programs to cater for working professionals.
People who work normally, they want to be assessed, they want to be certified at CVQ level. We want to be able to organize programs for them that they can come in the evenings, say from 5 to 8, and do a program of studies leading to the CVQ. So that is a way forward for the TVET Council, the Ministry of Education, for Dominica. And so what we're doing now is enhancing the human resource capital to be able to do the delivery. And we are hoping that people like yourself, you will see that as newsworthy and help us to spread the message that Dominica must join the rest of the Caribbean in delivering CVQs.
The Director of Continuing Education said the local council is now in the process of creating a platform to launch the CVQ programs. Although Dominica is a bit slow in relation to CVQ certification, Matthew says it is not lagging behind other Caribbean countries, but is in a good position to learn from the mistakes of its counterparts. Presently, only Grenada and St. Lucia are certified to deliver CVQs in the OECS. And in other stories, Health Minister Honorable Dr. Kenneth Daru is urging the public to play their part in the prevention of glaucoma. Honorable Daru made the statement during his address to signal the opening of Glaucoma Week, observed under the theme Beat Invisible Glaucoma from March 8th to 14th, 2015.
Over the years, the concept of glaucoma has changed and is no longer defined as a disease of elevated intraocular pressure, but rather as a progressive disease affecting the optic nerve of the eye, resulting in characteristic visual field loss. Glaucoma is the second only to cataracts as a leading cause of blindness and is the leading cause of irreversible blindness here in Dominica. And when one considers the common risk factors of family history of glaucoma, aging, ethnicity, elevated eye pressure, and eye trauma, coupled with the fact that lowering the intraocular pressure still remains the one and only treatment, one can very well appreciate why glaucoma has been and still continues to be a serious public health issue.
The health minister said glaucoma is not only a problem in Dominica, but throughout the world. A study to determine the prevalence and projection numbers of glaucoma cases in the age group of 40 to 80 revealed that there are about 64.3 million people worldwide living with glaucoma, and this number is expected to increase to 111.8 million by the year 2040. This will affect people residing in Asia and Africa. However, in Dominica, it is estimated that there are about 1,600 people living with glaucoma, and from that, approximately 10% of them are clinically blind.
A report on the cost and benefits of Vision 2020 would have also shown that the benefits of eliminating blindness far exceeds the resources required to sustain the blind populace by a multiple of 4.1 in developing countries such as ours. These statistics are of course ultra important in guiding the designs of glaucoma screening, treatment, and public health policies and strategies. Because most types of glaucoma are silent, meaning that there are no visible symptoms in the early stages of the disease, about 50% or half of the people with glaucoma do not know that they have this disease. To complicate the discussion, approximately 50% of patients will not have elevated intraocular pressures when the diagnosis of glaucoma is made. Hence, the importance of regular eye examinations, because, like a thief in the night, it steals one's vision without they being aware that they are losing their peripheral vision.
Honorable Daru said blindness from glaucoma can be prevented, while adding most people with glaucoma are not blind, hence early detection and compliance to treatment and management regimes are key in the strategy needed to reduce blindness from glaucoma. He said in order to maximize the effectiveness of the strategy, one must target those at risk, and as such, individuals diagnosed with glaucoma should inform their relatives, and they in turn should have their eyes tested for glaucoma. Dr. Daru is also advising on the need for regular eye examinations by people over the age of 30, especially those who have history of eye injury and others on long-term steroid treatment. According to the minister, glaucoma patients must adhere to their treatment and follow-up appointments. UNICEF ambassador encourages sports youth to be inspired, and one man dead following police drug bust. More details on these and other stories when we return.
Dominica. Cricket comes to Nature Island once again, and Digicel Play will be on top of the action. The regional 4-day cricket match, Windward Islands Volcanoes versus Guyana Jaguars, comes to Dominica at the Windsor Park Stadium. Join us on 767 Local for a 767 Sports Special on Channel 3 from March 20 to the 23rd, 2015 from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. Tune in and recap the day with sports commentators Joseph Thomas and Andy Carter. Also join us for our post-games discussions on Friday, March 19 and again on Monday, 23rd March from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. on Channel 3. Look out for the 767 Sports Special brought to you by Digicel Play.
Thanks for staying with us. United Nations Children's Fund UNICEF Ambassador Karina LeBlanc, Dominican-born and Canadian national, returned home on March 13th as a beacon of hope to young sportsmen and women in Dominica. LeBlanc, who arrived on island with members of UNICEF Canada on March 13th, was officially introduced to the Dominican public and the Caribbean by extension during a short ceremony at the Bafa State playing field on Saturday, March 14th.
I've been blessed enough to travel the world representing Dominica and Canada and UNICEF and my family. But coming here, I remembered being that 3-year-old kid. And I remember landing here and driving through the streets, even this morning, and seeing the kids. I remember myself being them. And the joy, the pure joy that that overcomes and overwhelms me from being here right now, it's hard to explain.
LeBlanc described the trip as being very personal for her, as it combines her passions of being a woman, a Dominican, a Canadian, and a UNICEF ambassador. She said the objective is to make a difference in the lives of the youth she encountered during her trip to Dominica.
I think the biggest message I want to get to every child that I come in contact with is that if you dream big, if you work hard, if you believe in yourself, anything is possible. They may not be the next future Olympian, but they can be a doctor, they can be a policeman, they can run this country. They can be anything they want to do, but they have to dream big. And you make that choice. And it's a choice that I want them to make. And I want them to feel this and understand that this is a medal, but it doesn't represent just soccer. It represents dreams and that anything is possible. And I'll tell them some of my stories where everyone had ruled me out apart from my family. But I just believe that I was always meant to be something greater.
An emotional LeBlanc said this trip to Dominica has inspired her and reminded her of why she does what she does as she prepares for the 7th FIFA Women's World Cup scheduled to take place from June 6 in Canada.
In 85 days from now, when I step on that field at the World Cup, the world is watching, the biggest event for women, I will proudly be wearing that Canadian flag, and in my heart, I will proudly be representing you.
During her stay, LeBlanc visited several schools, including the Convent Preparatory, Northeast Comprehensive, Portsmouth Secondary, and the Social Center Preschool. She currently serves as the goalkeeper for the Canadian women's soccer team and is an Olympic bronze medalist following the 2012 London Games. LeBlanc is the longest-serving player in Canadian soccer history, representing the country for more than 15 years, including at 2 Olympic Games, 3 Pan-American Games, and 4 FIFA Women's World Cups. In other stories, an investigation has been launched following the death of a vagrant in Roseau. Police Public Relations Officer ASP Claude Wicks said the individual has been identified as Stephen Girdell, originally from Laurent, La Plaine.
He was found at the market somewhere about 8:30 or so, 8:49. That's on Saturday, and that's the 14th rather of March 2015, and they noticed that he was motionless, a passerby, and as such, he was taken or transported to the Princess Margaret Hospital, and at the hospital, upon examination, he was officially pronounced dead.
ASP Wicks said a coroner's inquest, in addition to a post-mortem, will be conducted on the 51-year-old to determine the cause of death.
Preliminary investigations don't seem to suggest that there was any foul play or anything suspicious about it, but every death must be investigated and treated as if it is suspicious. But at the end of the day, there will be a post-mortem, and that indeed will assist the police in their investigation. So this is a chap who was reported to have been drinking excessively and was always around the market area. And last week we had another chap, as you know, who had collapsed and died, and there was another one who had some medical issues. In fact, there were many conflicting reports that he had died, that he was sodomized, and all of this, and that indeed was not so. That was not so at all.
The police PRO said it is important that the public respects each other, no matter the person's condition or disability, as we are all human beings.
If the alcoholics or those who drink exceedingly, excessively, those who pyros, whatever their problems, whether psychotic problems, psychosis, whatever. But at the end of the day, it's not for you to get rid of them. Who has given you that authority anyway? So what we are advising is that if they are to break the law or transgress, let's get the reports going. We will take them to the court or the psychiatric unit, deal with them as the law dictates, but it's not for us to destroy them or kill them.
ASP Weeks noted a thorough investigation will be conducted on the death of Girodel. And one man is dead, another seriously injured, and one is on the run following a drug bust over the weekend off the coast of Bioche. Police Public Relations Officer ASP Claude Wicks said the Coast Guard was on a routine patrol a mile off the coast of Bioche on Saturday, March 14th, when at about 8:30 p.m. an open-keel boat was spotted. 3 individuals were seen, which attracted the attention of the Coast Guard officers who pursued the boat.
They did every means possible with respect to stopping the boat, that is, trying to get the attention of the occupants of the boat to stop the boat in question.
ASP Wicks said the individuals ignored all requests to stop their vessel and sought to evade the Coast Guard, which sparked a high-speed chase.
In so doing, the occupants of the boat headed straight down to Bioche. One of the occupants jumped off the boat, and the 2 remained while evading the police. The police were in hot pursuit as well. Like anything else, like I said, that attracted the attention of the police, the apparent suspicious actions of the occupants of the boat. Nevertheless, they continued despite the attempts by the police to stop them, and they crashed into the rock at Bioche. Of course, the boat was extensively damaged, and as such, the 2 occupants of the boat sustained very serious injuries.
He said the injured men were then transported to the Reginald Fitzroy Amor Hospital in Portsmouth. However, one individual was referred to the Princess Margaret Hospital in Roseau for further medical attention. He succumbed to his injuries while being transported. That individual has been identified as 30-year-old Erickson Robert Blaise of Hagley Granby. 28-year-old Kieran Charles of Silver Lake has been identified as the other seriously injured occupant of the boat, who is now a patient at the Princess Margaret Hospital.
Like I said, one other occupant of the boat jumped off, and we are in pursuit. It becomes a subject of interest in these investigations. I must also let you know that a substantial amount of drugs was found, that is, to wit, cocaine and marijuana. That is also kept in police custody. I also said that the boat in question, the open-keeled boat, which was powered by heavy engines, horsepower engines, was very extensively damaged, and that too becomes of value to the police investigations.
The Police Public Relations Officer said investigations are ongoing into the matter. And that's it for local news. The latest in sports news is coming up next with Larry, so stay tuned.
Some call it money transfer. We call it helping him hit his first ever 6. MoneyGram, bringing you closer.
Shopping is a lot easier with Courts Ready Finance. Choose what you want from our wide range of quality products, and we take care of the rest. Courts Ready Finance's affordability means there's no deposit. There's no need for a lump sum of cash. It's flexible, which means you choose your payment term and you're guaranteed the lowest monthly payments anywhere. Best of all, it's easy. Easy to get and easy to pay. Shop at Courts today and get what you want, hassle-free. Courts Ready Finance. Easy, affordable, flexible.
Good evening and welcome to 767 Sports. In tonight's coverage, we begin with cricket. Nagico Stars of Portsmouth earned full points last weekend when the action continued in the 2015 Dominica Cricket Association Digicel Augustus Gregoire Premier Division competition. Playing at the Botanic Gardens, Stars defeated former champions Desiderata Tremors by 27 runs in a low-scoring affair. Stars won the toss and took first knock and scored 109 all-out. Oscar George and Ken Joseph scored 33 runs each to be the top scorers. In reply, Tremors was bowled out for 42. Grayson Packett with 17 not out was the top scorer, while Vincent Lewis with 6 for 25 was the main destroyer for the Stars. With a lead of 66 runs on the first innings and batting for a second time, Stars was bowled out for 77. Set a victory target of 144, Tremors reached 117 all out. Final scores in the match: Nagico Stars 109 and 77 all out, Desiderata Tremors 42 and 117 all out. In basketball, on Friday, March 13th at the Dominica Grammar School, the Dominica State College DSC defeated the Dominica Grammar School DGS 71-43 in an under-20 basketball championship match. For DSC, Edmond Williams was the top scorer with 22 points, 18 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals, and 5 blocks. For DGS, Norton Vidal was the top scorer with 14 points and 8 rebounds. On Wednesday, March 18th, in the girls' division at St. Joseph, the Isaiah Thomas Secondary School will play the Cassibro Secondary School, while the Dominica State College and the Pierre Charles Secondary School will play at the Lindo Park. In more basketball, in the final game of the President's Cup held on Saturday evening, reigning Division I champions E.H. Charles Crossover went up against reigning Premier Division champions Detroit Blazers. The clear favorites were Blazers, but Crossover would not go down easy. The first quarter ended with a 25-23 Blazers lead, followed by a halftime score 41-32 in favor of Blazers. However, in the first few minutes of the third quarter, Crossover brought the scores close to 52-55. That was quickly followed by a number of turnovers by Crossover over a span of 2 minutes, which led to Blazers expanding the lead to 19 points. Blazers controlled the rest of the game as Crossover could not recover from the 19-point deficit. Final scores were Blazers 93, Crossover 67. Blazers are once again crowned champion of the President's Cup. Thomas Felix, who finished the game with 28 points, 6 rebounds, and 4 assists, won the MVP awards for the President's Cup. Other top performers for Blazers were Lester Langley, 18 points, 6 assists, and 3 rebounds. Javid Joseph, 8 points and 10 rebounds. Top performers for Crossover were Emil Cardo, 15 points and 7 rebounds. Mikri Edwards, 16 points, 3 rebounds, and 3 steals. Brandon Lazar, 13 points, while shooting 4 out of 8 for free. In football, defending champions New India Goodwill Runners and New Generation Sports Club are moving closer to championship glory in the Domlec Women's League, while the national senior men's team went down in a friendly international game in football action over the weekend. Public Relations Officer of the Dominica Football Association, Gerald George, has more details.
We begin with the Domlec Women's League on Sunday, where defending champions New India Goodwill Runners Ahmad Bomber Starlights 9-0 in the first match of a doubleheader at the Baffert State playing field. Cassandra Del Sol registered a hat-trick for Goodwill Runners, with Mariah Espy scoring 2, Tracy Hector, Giselle Francis, Annette Bernard, and Pearl Aiken scored 1 each. In the second match of the night, Dime Dominica Harlem United failed to show up for their match against New Generation Sports Club. New Generation now head the points table with 33 points, with one game in hand, with defending champions New India Goodwill Runners in second place on 31 points, also with a game in hand. Dime Dominica Harlem United are also on 31 points, with no more games remaining. Mahosuka Strikers, who are also in with a chance at capturing the title, are on 28 points with 2 games in hand.
Meanwhile, in the All-Island League on Saturday, Point Michel defeated Goodwill All-Stars 3-0 at the Pori playing field.
Kasim Peltier from the back of the nets twice for Point Michel, with Bernard Gregoire scoring 1. While in the first match of a doubleheader at the Baffert State playing field, Sufres Patels crushed Dr. Daru Stars 7-0. Kieran Lewis and Christophe Gervais combined to score 2 each, with Chester Morancy, Daniel James, and Alexon Brady scoring 1 each. In the second match, Exodus Football Club edged out Casimus 1-0. Harrison Drago scored for Exodus. In the Division 1 League on Sunday, MV Maxano Bombers defeated Glanville Renegades 5-1 at the Benjamin Park. And the national senior men team went down by 1-0 against Antigua and Barbuda in an international friendly match at the recreation grounds in Antigua on Sunday. Dominica is preparing for the first leg of the FIFA World Cup qualifiers against BVI next week.
And that's it for tonight's Sportscast. Tune in again tomorrow for more sports news.
That was Larry with the latest in sports. Now for a recap of tonight's headlines. Opposition stages protests in disapproval of frivolous spending by the government. Dominica on its way to establishing Secretariat for Technical Education, and one man is dead following a police drug bust. In sports, Detroit's Blazers defeat E.H. Charles crossover in the DABA President's Cup final. And that's all the time we have for tonight. Until tomorrow, drop us an email at media@767news.dm, friend us on Facebook, and be sure to like our 767 News page. From all of us on the 767 News production team, I'm Alicia George, wishing you a wonderful evening, and thanks for watching.
Boom, Miss and it's my time to get on bad when I jam in at everybody. Come celebrate with me, but if you don't know me yet, don't worry, man, we go take a jam in a party. Yeah, put one hand in the air. 767 News.